Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podman, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Audible, Double Twist. Thank you always for joining me once again today. It's a great pleasure to be back on board talking some hockey. You know why I delay things, right? It's not because of the Kevin Fiala deal. I was hoping maybe there'd be another deal right after the Kevin Fiala deal, and it took forever. But it's done. Kirill Kaprizov is back with the Minnesota Wild with the expected from Michael Russo weeks and weeks ago. 5 years, $9 million. Not 9 years for $5 million. That'd be a lot better. Wouldn't that be great? 9 years for $5 million? Yes, we're all good to go. But no, 5 years, $9 million, $45 million, blah, blah, blah. Kevin Fiala also inked. So I was basically waiting to be able to finally do a show to talk about these two guys signing, and then we could move on into the season preview in the next 2 weeks or so, approximately. We already talked about Frederick is more like it. Goudreau. You get the idea. Ryan Hartman, obviously, he'd already re-signed last season, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Jordan Greenway. Yep. Unfortunately, next year we'll be going through some more contract stuff with Kevin Fiala. That'll be quite interesting. And there's a scenario I think things should be fine, being able to keep him even with those nasty, ugly, buyouts looming. Of course, Foligno's staying for 3 more years. Victor Rask, $4 million coming off the books. I thought it was 4.2, but I guess it's $4 million. Go figure. Jordan Greenway and Kevin Fiala, at least in terms of the forwards. Otherwise, unrestricted free agents Goligoski, Jordy Ben, and John Merrill. Jordy Ben was also signed most recently. And just kind of another, 6th, 7th defenseman to kind of, balance things out and to keep things in, just to kind of keep things ready, keep things safe basically back there. Another physical, solid defenseman who's not asking for much, that type of situation. Not going to talk a ton about training camp, a little bit, just kind of the positive news, because mostly this is we're focusing on the contracts, and we'll talk more about how these guys did as we move into the season preview and the excitement going forward. At the moment, with Kaprizov signed, this is the top line is pretty much what I expected. Jules Eriksson Ek at center, which I do like. Mats Zuccarello at right wing, Kirill Kaprizov at left, and then right away it gets weird. Okay, I'm hopeful about this in the future, but I'll say the current ones, according to Michael Russo. Ryan Hartman, second line center, Ryan Hartman. Marcus Foligno at right wing, Jordan Greenway at left. Well, I'm not too disappointed about the center. Victor Rask at center for the third line. Kevin Fiala at right wing instead of Foligno. I just almost called him Johnny Gaudreau. Frederick Gaudreau at left wing instead of center for the fourth line because he's supposed to be a face-off specialist. Okay. Nico Sturm at center for the fourth line with Nick Bukestad on the right wing, and Brandon Duhaime from Parkland, Florida, and of course Iowa and Providence and all that good stuff. Really cool Providence College. Brandon Duhaime would be a fourth line left winger, which I'm excited about that possibility. I'm definitely not against that. I see Bukestad as more of a 13th forward. Honest to God, I'm just being honest with you. That's there is a crappy side if both Boldy and Rossi somehow make the team. A guy like Brandon Duhaime, who I think deserves to make it, and possibly some of the others up and comers in the system deserve a chance like Connor DeWeer. I think he was just absolutely fantastic. He played in all situations. We've said that a million times, but he's played in all situations in Iowa, which tells you he's pretty damn good, and he's only 22 years of age. He was an exciting draft pick in the Paul Fenton era. Paul Fenton did a good job drafting. Alexander Hovenovel is willing to go to Iowa, which is great. He's coming back to to North America. I'm so happy about that. Alexander Hovenovel again. So again, just kind of updating things. Again, we'll talk about this more in the season preview, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, there I go, kind of blabbing and blabbing. That's why I didn't send out a bat signal. I want the bigger fan interaction to be on the season preview, kind of talking about the season and Kirill Kaprizov and Hovenovel or whatever the heck you want to talk about. I'm sure Marco Rossi will be a huge topic going into the preseason. And he's a huge topic now. He looks absolutely great. He's fast as you know what. Maybe you don't know what. He's absolutely fast out there. And we all know how a lot of the people that know their hockey, like Derek Pelska, talk about skating is extremely important, because that's why Pouliot was so disappointing for the Minnesota Wild. Benoit Pouliot, he couldn't skate. 4th overall pick, and he couldn't even effing skate. So, I mean, that's why he was just a third-line center most of his career with Edmonton and such. He was productive, but a third-line center, 4th overall, okay. There's guys like Brandon DeHame, guys like Connor DeWeer, who might be able to play in the middle six or the bottom, but more likely the bottom six per se. And then you got guys like Rossi and Boldy who cannot play in the bottom six. They cannot. They got to be in the top six. And nice to hear what Mr. Paul Fenton, Mr. Bill Guerin had to say about them. I was going to have the file linked in a little bit better than I'm about to do it, but I'm going to kind of do it in a guerrilla style here. But he said something pretty cool on the Judd's Hockey Show. It was released yesterday. I might as well say this right now. I was going to save this for the season preview, but I'm going to throw it into the season preview as well, most likely. But I'm going to play it now as well, because this is something I really like. Or not. I just...
Come on, guys. If they're here, they're not going to be buried. They're going to play.
Nope, that's not going to work. I apologize. Joey's stupid, so it's not going to work doing it like that. Apologize here on the fly here, going guerrilla style, which is not good, but that's how I roll sometimes.
It looks like he's set to play here now. How much do you expect from him? And your philosophy, too, I find to be intriguing, which is these guys aren't going to be fourth line guys if they're here. They're not going to be buried. They're going to play. What's your expectation for the potential for them to actually play substantial roles this season?
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, yeah. They're gonna tell me what we're gonna do. I mean, we'll see what their performance is like. Like I said, they're just gonna tell me. I'm not gonna go down and just say, hey, look, you're anointed right there. You get that spot. That's what you're gonna do. No, you are gonna have to push your way in the lineup and force our hand. And I do believe in that philosophy. Why would I put Matthew Boldy or Marco? They're not that type players. They're not role players. They're offensive, creative guys that need to play with other players like that. So those days are over where you got to come in and you got to spend your time on the fourth line and work your way up. Well, those days are gone. We just gave a guy with 55 games $45 million.
They got to check, Billy. If they don't check guys,
yeah, exactly,
and get bag skated constantly, it's not going to work here. Okay,
but that's fine. That's the way it is now. And you know what? I think it's actually really good. I think it's healthy. Like
me too.
You know what? Let's put these guys in a position to succeed. You don't have to wait a year or two to get on the power play. You get on the power play now because that's the type of player you are, and you can be real good at it. You can be better than the guys we have. So why not?
That put a smile on my face. I remember, when I was listening to that today, working outside and just kind of gathering information in my head for the show. And I'm like, I gotta look at the time on this and back to that and get that on the show. Normally I like to clip it out and do it properly, but I did it kind of guerrilla style, but hopefully the audio was still good enough because I've gotten kind of decent at doing that, I guess. Apologize if it sounded like crap. But yeah, why not? Why not, right? So if they do make the team, I can see them on the second power play unit. What do you think of that? They won't be on the top power play unit. I got to think it's going to be Joel Eriksson Ek in power play and penalty kill with Kaprizov and Fiala or Zuccarello, something like that. But if they're going to be on the power play unit, depending on where they put Fiala, I guess, or Zuccarello, you might just have the top line as the power play unit, which isn't always a good thing. It's an interesting, fluid situation, I suppose, but you could have that second group being like Rossi at center, Boldy at left, and Fiala or Zuccarello at right. It's going to be Fiala, most likely. That could be a beautiful second power play unit. Going forward, I think Dumba for sure goes on the number one power play unit. And there you go, jumping ahead to the season preview. But still, it is what it is. You're going to hear me say that again in a couple weeks. This and that. So let's talk about the Kaprizov contract before I get too sidetracked. I just got so excited when I heard Mr. Bill Guerin say that. Again, I want the fan interaction, most of it, to go into the season preview. That's why I didn't send out the bat signal to Derek Felska. So again, hopefully he doesn't think that's kind of dorky and weird of me. At the end of the day, awesome article. I liked what he had to say. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but I will kind of tap into a little bit what he said shortly. But Kevin Fiala, of course, inked to a $5.1 million deal, 1 year, $5 million for 1 year with the arbitration. I can't believe he's 25. That's kind of a bummer. But he was seeking in the upwards of 7, maybe 6.5, and they're like, they ended up coming down to 5.1 for only 1 year, so kind of another quote-unquote prove it. Still a significant raise from what he had before in the, it was like a bridge / entry-level to bridge contract type of situation that was signed 2 years ago when he first came to Minnesota, Kevin Fiala, because he was very unproven in the NHL. Had a couple good moments, we'll say, but generally speaking, unproven in the National Hockey League was Fiala generally, with some flashes here and there. And, of course, the injured femur was really scary as well. Of course, broken femur, that's pretty serious stuff. Just ask Foster, the former defenseman for the Wild years ago. Scott, let's just leave that alone. But I'll get back to what I'm going to say about the salary cap in a second with the 5.1 for Kevin Fiala. So again, a prove-it year. We'll see what happens. Good news is there should be a possibility of being able to re-sign him when I get to the math here and things in a second. Kirill Kaprizov, again, the 5 years, but unfortunately, it's a full no-trade clause in the 4th and 5th seasons, which, as Derek Felska will say, makes it almost like a 3-year deal in terms of you got to make a decision by year 3 about Kirill Kaprizov, and, of course, hoping to God he'll be willing to sign some kind of extension after that, this and that. And then you get into possible trades. If he's like, I don't really want to be here, blah, 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 I don't really want to sign an extension. If there's like an indication of that, then you might be looking to trade him for hopefully something pretty good. Hopefully a decent haul, draft picks, and maybe a really nice young player as well. A Marco Rossi type from another team, a Matthew Boldy type. Maybe a couple Matthew Boldys. Maybe both type of situations going forward. Happy to have Joel Eriksson Ek in the mix. Obviously, he is a 200-foot center. He fits what Bill Guerin wants in a big way. If he can get up into the 25-goal range and 45 assists, I'd be dancing on the clouds. I mean, that's great. It's a long contract, long term, but it's a hell of a deal if he's anything near that type of number, and continue to provide the ridiculous defense that's so good it pisses people off, that kind of thing. So the fear of, like, oh, great, how are we going to re-sign Kevin Fiala now? We're going to have to dump Dumba. Not necessarily, because think about this. Okay, so Victor Rask is coming off the books. We're all thinking about that. That's good. That's $4 million coming off the books, right? Guess whose contract's coming off the books? $5.1 million. Kevin Fiala's contract's coming off the books. His own contract is coming off the books, which provides cap space to re-sign him. It's not like it's stuck at $5 million the next year, and then you got to add to that. So just think about that. That's $9.1 million right there. That's more than Kirill Kaprizov. That's a little bit of space there. Just don't bring Victor Rask back, and hope that there's somebody in the wings ready to rock and roll as a future center. A Hovey, as we say, Hovanov, the Brennan DeHeim type of guy. Obviously, he's a winger, but other prospects in the system that can hopefully emerge and get things moving forward in a big way. Damien Giroux plays center. Hovanov, of course, Dominic Turgeon, but he's already he was he's one of those minor league free agents. Mason Shaw, I'm not too confident in because of the injuries. He's certainly talented, but he's just so gosh darn injury prone. But things can definitely open up. That's $9.1 million right there. Maybe I'm a complete idiot, but that's a positive way to look at it, don't you think? So it's just, it's a more positive perspective, I suppose, looking at the whole thing rather than just like, oh, great, we're bleeped. Again, I don't want to spoil Derek Felska's article. I recommend it in a big way. I retweet it and share it. I share it on Facebook, retweet it on Twitter all the time. He does a great job. And, of course, again, people will think he's this negative Nancy. I don't think so. I like the way he said I just liked how he said, where was it? Unlike some Wild fans, I'm not exactly thrilled with the contract. Yeah, but he thinks it's too much for a player who's played less than 60 games. I don't disagree with that. And the other thing that he mentioned, again, not trying to spoil it too much, but he's not understanding fans out there that say, why are the Wild so damn cheap? And, give him what he wants, like $12 million or something. You can't do that. It'll kill your organization. Do you really think Connor McDavid's contract is good for the Edmonton Oilers? Take a look at the Edmonton Oilers and what's going on there. Connor McDavid's the best player in the league. He's number one. And the Leon Draisaitl's fantastic. I don't understand the Nurse contract. What's he making? $9 million. He's making Kaprizov money. Yeah, we're complaining. That's the other thing too. Some people might think, well, why are you complaining about Kaprizov then? Well, yeah, but Edmonton, that just shows how poorly run they are. They're the Timberwolves of hockey right now in a lot of ways. During the Garnett era, signing, good players to way too much money. But that's the thing. That's the whole point. If you sign Kirill Kaprizov to $12 million plus $13 million, you're gonna be strapped, aren't you? You're gonna hope to get a Victor Rask type player for $1.1 million. And then Marcus Foligno, hey, 1.7, is that okay, Marcus? Please, come on, take one for the team, okay? Come on, take one for the team, Marcus. Yeah, Joel Eriksson Ek, that 5.2, yeah, no. Yeah, you're not getting that. It is 3.5. Zuccarello, boy, what have we done there? $6 million. Thanks a lot, Paul Fenton, you son of a biscuit. Alex Goligoski, can you sign for $900,000 next year? Is that okay? Please sign for $900,000, Alex. And Dumba, get the hell out of here. Dumba, go. Just go, Dumba. Get the hell out of here. We'll take a 6th-round pick for Matt Dumba just to get rid of him. That could be the situation with contracts like that. I know I'm exaggerating. I apologize. I am. I'm exaggerating, but that's kind of what Edmonton's like right now. Maybe they'd sign Dumba to $9 million, but I guess we already kind of did that with Spurgeon, 7.5. You get the idea. I think Spurgeon's a valuable guy. Nurse is solid, but I don't know if he's worth $9 million. He's not that good. Jeez. You think of great defensemen in the NHL? Do you think of Nurse from Edmonton? Not really. Not really. Yep. Obviously, the Goligoski contract they're talking about, that's going to be cheaper next year. This is kind of like a big payment now, and then willingness to go down because, of course, obviously the cap hit, the dead cap hit, jumps up about $4 million per player, so it's $8 million total next year. Literally $8 million more on the cap, and then you add another $1 for 2 more years in 23-24, 24-25, and then it drops to 1.6, which is minimal. It's a minimal cap hit. But there's a 3-year stretch there where it's pretty harsh. $14.7 million of dead cap. That's Connor McDavid right there. That's Connor McDavid money, unfortunately. So, yeah, I guess we've already done that to ourselves anyway. But at least we got Ryan Suter's dictatorial style locker room presence out of the room. And Zach Parise, whatever the heck you want to call that, also out of the room. I'm okay with that at the end of the day. Again, I'm positive about the Victor Rask and Kevin Fiala contracts coming off the books to re-sign Kevin Fiala. See, because again, I know that just sounds funny. His own contract comes off the books, and then you can re-sign him. Say if it's $7 million a year, that's only a $2 million difference. So it's not as big of a smash in the face as you might think. Maybe you can bring Victor Rask. I don't know. Most people will be like, "Shut the hell up, Joey." Maybe for $900,000. That's about all I'd probably offer Victor Rask, unless he has an unbelievable season. Maybe then maximum like 1.5. Unbelievable for his standards, by the way. I don't think he's going to go out and score 30 goals and win 90% of his face-offs and be like the best 200-foot defenseman or center you ever saw. Don't think that's going to happen. But there's just, obviously Dumba could be a trade bait type of thing. The Wild have not gotten good offers coming his way. Maybe he'll have a better season. Maybe we sure as hell won't want to trade him at the end of the day. Spurgeon and Brodin aren't going anywhere. Their contracts are like really, really long, obviously, and you want to keep them. I mean, anytime either one of them's out, it's like, oh man, this sucks. Whenever one of them is out, it sucks. It's really bad. So Dumba will be a number one power play guy, I got to think. And if he's still struggling to get to even 30 freaking points, I don't know, man. Then it's like, okay, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a guy that's going to get like 28 points a season, and he's an offensive defenseman with a big shot that scores sometimes. Kakinen, Talbot, we all know about that, blah, blah, blah. Talbot's got 2 more years. Kakinen, that's another one that's going to be a restricted free agent next season. I don't expect a giant raise coming his direction from $725. And it's just going to be really freaking interesting to see how the cap goes next season. Bugle, $900K coming out of the books. This is probably going to be his final season in Minnesota. That's just my guess. That's just my current guess at the time. It's just funny, though. It's ironic. You think, wait a minute, $5 million's coming out of the books, so you don't have to worry too much about re-signing Fiala. It's a matter of if you want to sign an outsider, then Fiala's gone. But it's just funny. So it's only be a $2 million difference if you sign him for $7 million. Maybe $7 million, like maybe $7 million even for 5 years, 5 to 7 years, something like that for Kevin Fiala. Because I think he's going to have a huge season. I think absolutely. Bill Guerin's very excited about that possibility of Kevin Fiala having a huge season, and wouldn't surprise me one bit if he did. So that's the exciting part about all this. Greenway, I don't know what to expect. I expect a pretty good year, generally speaking, from him as well. Again, he's a restricted free agent with arbitration, eligible, that type of thing going into next year. So basically similar to what Fiala had this year, becoming a 25-year-old. I don't anticipate a one-year contract with Fiala next year. But I think he's going to be easier to re-sign than people may think in terms of cap space. I think it's doable. It's not like, oh, God, we got to cut the whole damn team. Thanks a lot, Karen, for buying those guys out. It's expensive. It is what it is, but Darren's not stupid. I think it's safe to say he's a really good general manager. I think he handled things very, very well. He stayed calm, he waited things out, and he handled it perfectly. And the talk about how when the agent finally said, let's meet in person, because Kirill Kaprizov had come to Florida, very wisely, came to Florida to get all of his stuff cleared up. I don't agree with every single thing in the world that's going on. Let's just leave it at that with protocol this, protocol that. But if the protocols are the protocols and he was able to get everything ready to go, that's good. Good for him. It's wise at this point. Again, I don't agree with all of that, but I don't agree with 100% of what's going on out there. Maybe some of it, not 100%. Just leave that where it is. But the fact that one way or another he was prepared and ready to rock and roll, and he's going to be able to be on the ice. In this case, that would be called tomorrow, Friday. Wow, that's pretty cool, because I'm recording late at night on Thursday night. Pretty damn cool that we're all set to go. People were afraid, he's just going to it's going to be like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever till he gets on the ice. This is bull crap. Messed everything up. I understand everybody that is irritated out there with how we waited 5 years for the guy to come, and then we're in a contract dispute again. I mean, Michael Russo was one of them. He was ranting quite a bit on his podcasts, this and that. I understand the frustration. Believe me, I do. But at least we can safely say this.
Hey, Minnesota fans, I am back.
Thank you, Kirill, for that. Kirill Kaprizov announcing he's back, and a little wink. That was cool. So thank you, Kirill, for that. Really appreciate it. I'll stop flapping my gums for now and let you guys tweet a bit. Let's see if I can. Most of it's kind of back and forth, though. Maybe I won't read a whole lot because there is a lot of... Unfortunately, see, I wind up in other people's tweets. That just kind of goes on and on. Carlos, I hope he follows back. He didn't follow back yet. Come on, man. Be a team player here. He tweeted back with me. There was something kind of cool that we were saying. Carlos Ledesma. Need to look at the term of all the contracts. Rask will likely be gone after this year. I got to think so. Dumba has been on the block for the right price. That is a lot of money, yes. And for his production, I think Dumba's overpaid at the moment. There was something where me and him kind of had a small little back and forth in a good way. Unfortunately, Minnesota Rube kind of got in it with Derek Fells, kind of unfollowed him, so that's unfortunate. That didn't. He was kind of attacking him, calling him a hypocrite. The Minnesota Rube was saying that to Derek Fells. That's unfortunate. Where the heck is that? Pardon me. It's some interesting conversation. See if I can find it, though. Okay. Carlos says, yes, take out Rask and you have two good $2 million AAV contracts. I thought I responded in there. Come on, man. I thought I did. Okay, I just liked it. That's a bummer. Yep, or just more space for Fiala. Okay, here we go. Yep. So, yeah, that's what I said. Or space for the new Fiala contract, God willing. And he said, forgot about that one. Wild, have to see if upcoming D is good enough to make Dumba expendable. That would be the source for more cap. That could be the source for more cap room. Yep. And like I was saying just a minute ago, hopefully Carlos will be a listener at some point. I should have responded this too. The cool part is though, see, because Fiala's contract's coming off the books too. It's a funny way to look at it, but it is. I mean, you're going from 5.1 to 0 with that. So Rask and Fiala coming off the books is $9 million. That's a positive way to look at it, because that $5 million is not going to still be there when next summer. It's not going to still be there. It's gone. So look at it that way. Again, just a $2 million raise possibly to that $7 million that he's seeking, because I don't think Fiala is seeking $9 million. And if he is, well, maybe we might have to sing the Happy Trails song to him at that point. I don't think he's seeking that. I think he's seeking $7 million, 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is. Wow, that's funny. But yeah, that was a good back and forth. Whoa, some dog in the hallway was just going absolutely ballistic. That was Kirill Kaprizov. No, that was Bill Guerin for a minute there behind the scenes during the contract negotiations when it got a little bit silly. He just started really just barking, and he was pissed and stuff, and he couldn't sleep at night. But no, Bill Guerin's much happier now. Apparently he was going to have a nice dinner out. I don't know if it was tonight or last night. Probably last night. Hope he enjoyed himself. Always wonder where those people go. I envy them so much. I wish so much, because when I work second shift, the whole thing of going out to eat, especially during the week instead of the weekend. I'm sick of the weekend. It's always overcrowded and stuff. A nice, decent weekend night out, or weekday night out at a nice restaurant sounds like heaven. It does. I envy those of you that get to do that. I truly do. Someday I'll be able to join you. I wouldn't mind sitting at a nice dinner with a certain writer someday. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, a certain writer who lives in western Wisconsin there, who I mentioned frequently on this show. Yeah, yeah. I just really appreciate the hockey community out there. Some of you are kind of stuck in your cliques, where others out there are great guys, and I appreciate those of you that have been kind to me and to this show. Yep, that was another thing. With the Twins eliminated, it's now 112 combined seasons without a championship for the core four Minnesota sports teams. Makes me feel absolutely ancient. Yeah, that was the Twins were the last one. That's just crazy. That's a lot. That's the thing, though. Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of interaction. It's mostly a little bit of back and forth. I was saying something is bullshit. Dave Killer Carlson says he will not sign. This was Kirill Kaprizov. He does not want to play here. Can you really blame him? And I was saying, I think it's bullshit. I don't want to hear about him not wanting to sign here. That kind of thing. The guys at Soda Pod, especially mostly Hoppy, was saying he doesn't really agree with Derek about the contract. How the opinions back and forth. He's happy to have him. He thinks it's a good deal. I don't think it's the worst deal ever. I don't. I do think it's high for a guy that's played only a few games, but I feel comfortable to a point of he's probably, I don't think it's just a fluke, obviously, that kind of thing. But obviously Minnesota, we've been through hell, so I guess you never know. I feel comfortable enough. Let's just leave it at that. But I understand Derek's I understand Derek fearing a little bit, fearing the worst, or not even fearing the worst, but being a little bit, leery on it. That's the word I'm trying to get. Brian Herrera accidentally tweeted me in something. It was one of those, clickbait things. He was like, whoops, I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's okay, Brian. Tom Larson was saying, oh, yeah, he was excited about it. It was a funny tweet. Oh, it's gone already. Shoot. It was like saying Kaprizov for 5 years, $7 million. That would have been funny. That would have been cool. It would be $2 million less. Then I think we'd all be happy then. Or 7 years, $5 million. That'd be great. At the end of the day, yeah, most of it's just kind of like other people interacting with each other. Or like starred notifications, this and that. Whatever the heck that is. Oh, yeah. And then I got all uppity, and I apologize. Dave Johnson, what was he responding with? Oh, yeah. Derek Fralska was saying, for something that is supposedly a done deal or close to it, it's sure taking its sweet old time. Waiting for this number 97 versus Wild Saga to end is like standing in line at a fast food restaurant, standing behind the person, reading the entire menu before they order. Sounds like Paul Caniff. Yeah, actually, that's exactly what he does, and it drives me nuts. Dude, how do you not know what's at McDonald's or Burger King or something? Are you freaking crazy? Yep, and then I love the image of, well, we're waiting. I forget what movie that is. I like that. But I was saying, couldn't agree more. It's just ridiculous and maddening. Dave Johnson says, compare Andrei Svechnikov and Kaprizov as players. Then tell me what Kaprizov contract should be, please. I'm still missing what he meant by that, other than, how did I respond? And it doesn't even show my response. How stupid. Nothing to see here. Really? What are you talking about? Did I delete my quote? Well, that was dumb. I responded. Okay, nope, it's gone. State of Rossi was saying, you want to compare him to a younger player with more of an NHL track record? I appreciate that, lad. I appreciate those that live boldly, sir. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It was mostly like you're comparing Kaprizov to a guy, that's only 21 years old, this and that. Just got started, like he just got drafted, basically. I don't know. I mean, he's only on an entry-level contract, so I'm just not sure where to go with that one. And then I kind of got all uptight because I thought they were both making fun of me, which is not true. State of Hoppy, Scott of the Soda Pod, and I'm like, everybody's smart, I'm stupid. Yay, I think I'm going to stay off Twitter for a while. State of Rossi, State of Hoppy, said, not sure how you interpreted that as me disagreeing with you. And I said, my bad, I'm confused these days. So it's a little bit of thing there. Good guy. I like Scott from the Soda Pod. Of course, Isha as well from Vancouver, British Columbia, or is it Vancouver Island, actually. Cool show, cool guys. Yep. Looking forward to the conversation about Lupulin coming up. Obviously, I like that brewery quite a bit with their chocolate peanut butter porter, so a little shout out to Lupulin going forward. Lupulin brewing out of Big Lake, Minnesota. So I'm actually a fan, believe it or not. Mostly for the chocolate peanut butter porter, though. When it comes to IPAs, I don't really stay in Minnesota a whole lot. Maybe Furious or Abrasive from Surly. Otherwise, I kind of tend to head to Chico, California for Torpedo Extra IPA. Kind of like that one a little more. So I think that should be about it for most of the actual fan interaction. Mostly it's just back and forth tweets and frustrations with Kirill Kaprizov. So that's kind of the back and forth there. But hopefully I'm not a complete idiot when I talked about the whole Fiala contract. Actually, well, that's $5 million coming off. Duh. And then Victor Rask is either not coming back or coming back for like a lot cheaper. Which if it's a lot cheaper in a smaller role, it's not going to kill me. But at the same time, if it opens up a spot for a Connor Dewar, Brandon DeHame, guys like that, Hovanov. I would love to see Hovanov on the Minnesota Wild at some point. I can see him as a middle six. Obviously, again, Rossi Boldy, second power play unit. Let's roll, baby, if things head in that direction. Apologize for the background noise. We're just busy here. So that's just how things go there. Something brand new just popped up. Craig says, Goligoski and Talbot is another $9 million. You have to hope 2 of 3 of Addison, O'Rourke, and Lambos work out in the next couple of years, along with Wallstead taking over in the goal, though. Dumba and Rask is just $10 million, says Derek. So this was kind of that, all that financial conversation back and forth here. Derek Felska says, oh, this is a few days ago, that's why. And then Craig kind of jumped in. I'll just read Carlos, Derek, and Craig and then wrap things up here. This is just yesterday. Carlos says, need to look at the term of all contracts on the team. Rask will likely be gone after this year. Dumba has been on the block for the right price. Yep, and then that's when I responded. And then Derek jumped in. I'm going to click like on all these tweets here. Derek Felska jumped in and said, Dumba and Rask is just $10 million. They still have more salary to trim. To say nothing, the raises Rossi, Boldy, and Edelson and others will need during these lean years. Yeah, that's another conversation coming up. Yep. And then Craig says, Goligoski and Talbot is another $9 million. So that's some money. Yeah, because Goligoski's probably going to go for cheaper. That's basically what happened there. You give him the $5 million now, and then he'll sign for cheaper later on. Goligoski and Talbot is another $9 million. You have to hope 2 of 3 of Addison, O'Rourke, and Lambos will work out in the next couple of years with Wallstead taking over in the goal, though. Sorry for repeating the same thing there. I'm cautiously optimistic, obviously, with all of that. Of course, Wallstead, I liked what I saw. Addison, we'll see. I mean, he's got a ton of talent, but obviously so far hasn't translated to the NHL. O'Rourke, the way he's translated as quickly as he has to the AHL, extremely impressive. Apparently, they just love Lambos, and hopefully his health issues are long gone, and he'll continue to head in the right direction there. They absolutely love him, and that's one of the reasons why it may have looked like a reach taking him where the Wild did, because he didn't really hardly get to play last year. So that's kind of where things stand. Of course, I was obsessed with, was it Pinelli? No, I'm forgetting the guy's name. I think that was the guy's name. I'm forgetting. But he was a center in the draft that I believe wound up with the Los Angeles Kings. So that figures. Hopefully Kirill Kaprizov isn't going to the Kings or the Rangers. Sick of all these players heading to the same bleeping teams. They don't usually go to the Kings, but Kings are definitely attractive to somebody who wants the big bucks and have the big city situation, I suppose. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes in the not too distant future. With that said, I'm going to sign off for now. Really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you didn't mind Hope you didn't mind some of my goofy talk here and there. Hope you didn't mind what my thoughts about the salaries. Yeah, you can always tweet me. Would love to hear from you. At Brave the Wild, Facebook.com/BraveTheWild.Minnesota. The Twitter seems to get a lot more interaction than the Facebook, but if you want to join the Facebook, start interacting on there and we'll get rolling. That's greatly appreciated. But again, at Brave the Wild. Both of them will be in the show description. The Vig It application, that's who we're affiliated with, Vig It, V-I-G-I-T, 2 different words. It is social media for sports bettors. You can post about your picks or see what others are saying about games. Vig It Betting League's a month-long betting competition to see who is the best sports bettor over the course of a month. Free-to-play sportsbook, bet free coins, win real prizes, and then betting stats. There is great information available on the Vig It Likeline movement, where the public is betting. Again, this is like fantasy betting, basically. It's not real money, wagering. It is fantasy money. Really encourage you to get on. It's fun, especially with the NFL now, Major League playoffs, and, well, guess what? We'll call it National Hockey League action coming up in about 3 weeks. Pretty freaking cool. And, again, preseason hockey coming up in a couple of days. Ooh, I love that. That's going to be awesome. So do join the Vig It application, Android or Apple. Obviously, you're going to find it out there. And when they ask for a referral, it is Paladinolive. Paladinolive, again, that'll also be in the show description. Don't be afraid to call into the show with the audio submission. We'd really appreciate that, or at least I would. But maybe the listeners would as well, to hear somebody's voice in the fan interaction segment. Simply open any free voice recording application on any smart device on the planet. Just open it up, press record, treat it like a phone call, hit stop, save it / share it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. Thank you in advance. It'd be great to hear from you. It's about anything from 5 minutes, a couple seconds, whatever you want to do. It'd be great. to hear from you, even if it's longer than 5 minutes, as long as you keep it generally hockey related. We'll say you could even shout out a certain beer that you really like, craft brewery, as long as it's not Miller or Coors, because I don't think that's even qualified to be called beer. I think it's horse piss. I really do. If not pig piss, maybe. It's the worst. The worst. It's garbage, in my opinion. At the end of the day. I'm sure Hoppy would agree with that one. And Isha. I'm sure they both would. And Derek Fels. And if they don't, whoa. What's going on here? If they don't agree with that, I don't know. That's strange. Okay, I'm babbling too much about that. But be great to hear from you. I would then convert the file into an MP3 thanks to Zamzar.com. Always appreciate that website. Give them a free plug because they provide a free service. But if you need a bigger file converted, you can join for a monthly subscription there at a pretty reasonable price. Otherwise, really looking forward to hockey coming back. I'm happy to have Kirill Kaprizov back. Is it the best situation in the world? No, this is not a guarantee he's going to be here even 3 years from now. I hope he is. Or should we say 4 years from now? I hope he is. I hope he's here the rest of his career and he's a Hall of Famer. First ballot. I hope so. I hope Kevin Fiala is a Hall of Famer too. I hope it's the next Gretzky and Curry or whatever the heck. Well, no, there's no center. Maybe Rossi will be the next Yzerman. And then one of them could be like a Yari Curry or whatever the heck. I would really hope so, though. With that said, hope to talk to you guys soon. Get ready for the season preview. I'll send out the bat signal for that one a few days before. Until then, take care and go wild.